Welcome to the world of the X-Men, where mutants are both feared and revered. The X-Men have been a fan-favorite group of mutants for years now, and with the recent news that they're joining the MCU, a few projects are expected to hit the big screen in the future, with X-Men Rise of Mutants being one of them. As fans are eagerly anticipating the arrival of their favorite mutants into the world of the MCU, we are here to dive deeper into the new upcoming X-Men film and see what we can expect from it.
Storm. What do they call you? Wheels?
After Disney's acquisition of 21st Century Fox, which included the rise of the X-Men characters, Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige announced that the X-Men will be joining the MCU. Throughout the past few years, mutants have been mentioned in the MCU, and thus far, the closest thing to an MCU X-Men movie is Deadpool 3, in which we'll see Hugh Jackman return as one of the OG X-Men, Wolverine. In addition, the MCU is making an X-Men 97, a revival of the classic X-Men animated series. 4 years after Disney bought 21st Century Fox, we still don't have a clear vision of the future of X-Men, but recent news and rumors have made us believe that an X-Men movie is actually in the works and will become part of the MCU. In the past year, we've heard multiple rumors about the MCU working on the projects for Phase 6. If you didn't know by now, the MCU is quite articulate when planning its phases years in advance. So far, we do know that an X-23 film is happening, which will likely be a form of sequel to Logan, as well as a Fantastic Four movie. Why is this important? Well, X-Men Rise of Mutants is set to be a sequel to these two films, or at least somehow connected to both, in which we could potentially see an introduction to the X-Men in the MCU. Becoming a part of Phase 6, this film will likely follow up after a few movies in the same phase, and for now, there has been a potential release date set for the summer of 2026, although we can't be quite sure that this will be the case.
Nice suit.
Henry, this is Logan. He's
Wolverine. I hear you're quite an animal.
Look who's talking.
The X-Men franchise is possibly the biggest and most successful superhero franchise in the past 2 decades. It began with its first film in 2000, in which we were introduced to the world of Professor Xavier and his team of mutants, who band together to fight against Magneto and his Brotherhood of Mutants. This movie first introduced us to Wolverine, who's by far one of the most recognized members of the X-Men. The franchise continued with 2 more films in the early 2000s, where they explored the relationship between mutants and humans and introduced crew characters such as Nightcrawler and Phoenix. In 2011, yet another movie came out, but this time around it served as a prequel, which further explored the origins of the X-Men and their relationship with Magneto. In 2011, we also got a whole new set of characters and actors, some reprising our already beloved characters, but this wasn't the end for the franchise. From 2014 to 2019, there were 3 more movies released that featured a mix of old and new characters and explored themes of identity, family, and redemption. The huge popularity of this franchise made it possible for it to smash that like button if you haven't done so already. But no, it made it possible for it to create a few spin-offs, such as the Wolverine trilogy, which was solely centered around Wolverine and his origins and journey, as well as the Deadpool movies, which currently is set to come back for a 3rd movie. For those of you unaware, Deadpool is part of the X-Men history. In the very first X-Men movie, we saw a glimpse of Deadpool, and years later, the decision was made for a new standalone movie focusing on Deadpool.
Wait, is that you? The Striker finally figured out how to shut you up.
So far, the Deadpool movies have been quite successful and have just recently entered the MCU with a huge announcement that Wolverine will be back in the 3rd movie, which could further open the doors for the introduction of all of the mutants into the MCU.
Our final member, Professor Charles Xavier.
Slowly but surely, the MCU has been introducing some mutants, but many have wondered, why haven't there been more? If the plan is to have an X-Men film, why haven't we introduced the Q mutants? Well, we can't be certain what plans the Marvel Studios have, but we can say that we do have information about which mutants have already been confirmed so far throughout the MCU. One of the most recognizable X-Men members was Professor Xavier. This role has been played by Patrick Stewart, and just recently, he has been able to reprise his role in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. However, this version of Xavier has been inspired by the X-Men the animated series. Another mutant that has appeared in the MCU is Namor, who can be seen in Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Namor is commonly referred to as Marvel's first mutant. Other mutants include Deadpool and Wolverine, but we've covered that already. What we failed to mention was that Deadpool 3 will pretty much open the door into the world of X-Men mutants, who we've yet to see. With the announcement of Wolverine returning, everyone speculated that some of the other Fox mutants may be present in this film and will eventually go up against Wolverine and Deadpool. So far, we do know that X-Men exists somewhere in the Marvel Universe, but we have yet to see where, and what will the MCU do with them?
One day your old pal Wade's gonna ask you to get back in the saddle again. And when he does, say yes.
Rise of Mutants will probably be the first film that will feature a team of mutants and members of the X-Men inside the MCU. We do expect to smash that subscribe button and ring that notification bell. But no, in all seriousness, we expect to see some old fan favorite characters return, but so far very little information has been announced about it. We don't even know if this movie will happen in the near future. Since the rumors sparked about this film, there have been multiple theories out there about what we can expect from it. Some say that the film will follow the mutants who escape from something, but only one remains behind wanting revenge on all humans. This will likely be Magneto, who will move forward by ripping all the metal out of the ground, so the other mutants have to stop him. This may be an interesting concept, however, it may not be true at all. So far, there have been no story details released about this film, but there are several directions that the film can take considering how many comic arcs there are. What will be hard and tricky to do is fitting them into an already overarching MCU. But with the introduction of the multiverse, the MCU has a clear way of introducing all the mutants. This way, all of the mutants will be able to approach the MCU, but they'll need a story. There's so much going on so far, and so many stories the MCU can choose from, that it comes to how they'll decide to incorporate the X-Men into the already existing stories of the MCU. This might be the most exciting chapter of the MCU, introducing various characters and new members coming from various universes into one place. It may sound hectic, but if the MCU truly puts its mind to it, it may result in something unseen and truly incredible. Throughout the MCU, there have been a few hints and clues that have hinted at the X-Men due to Ms. Marvel mutants have officially been confirmed in the MCU. If you aren't aware of what happened, in the finale Ms. Marvel realizes that cause of her powers is due to mutation, which is quite the specific wording given that there have been numerous rumors about the X-Men inside the MCU. This became a clear indication that the mutants are coming, and maybe even sooner than we expected. For years, the MCU has been eliminating itself from the X-Men, but since 2019, more and more mentions of mutants were included in various MCU projects. Given that they plan their phases years in advance, it wouldn't surprise us if they already knew in 2019 that an X-Men movie will happen. These little mentions and teases have made us believe that Marvel Studios have the potential to include an X-Men into their hectic multiverse and have them go up against various long-term members of the MCU. We've yet to see what the future holds, but if what we have already said is true, then we all should prepare for one unforgettable journey as the MCU takes us deeper into this universe. Check out this video next.